Communication is the cornerstone of business. How can I customize my communication so that I can better interact with my clients, with my patients, with my colleagues, with my boss?
By communicating better with and customizing for every single person that you interact with, you are going to have increased sales, you'll have increased exposure of your product, and you will have a more engaged team who then in turn also increase the productivity of your company. I am Lisa Copeland, and I teach communication for predominantly dental professionals and healthcare professionals, teaching people how to relate differently with different generations. So it's all about customization. Dentistry, as well as life right now, is super people-centric rather than product-centric, and I think a lot of people haven't learned how to adjust there. So communication is the cornerstone of all of that.
And in order to know what the patient wants, we have to know the patient. We have to establish relationships.
I always say to people, figure out what language you're speaking first, then figure out what language your client or your colleague is speaking. Because if you're ballroom dancing and somebody else is trying to two-step, that's not going to work out very well for us, is it? What's really important for us first to understand what is our generation. Then, more importantly, we have to understand how are we perceived. Because perception is what matters. It doesn't matter what you think. If somebody's perceiving you differently, that's what's important.
The number one takeaway for a lot of people is I learned so much about myself and how I'm perceived, and now I understand how I should communicate differently with my elders or with, somebody that's younger than me. They have a really good understanding of why their communication style doesn't work with another generation and how they can make adjustments. A lot of times there's some really simple things that you can change that are going to have a huge impact on your clientele.
How can we empower our teams to work more synergistically, to work in harmony, and so that we have just an amazing team to work with and for?
The culture dictates success. Culture trumps strategy.
Healthcare has a natural attrition. We have to keep new patients coming in the door in order to keep our practice afloat, let alone increase the practice revenue.
One of my strategies is using Ironman principles of business communication. I've competed and completed 2 Ironmans, and the skills that I learned in the planning and the preparation for that translate beautifully into business.
I'd hit the send button on the registration 1 year in advance. The mental and the physical training started that day.
Because the same things I did that day translate into principles of business communications.
They gave me the skills. They empowered me to succeed for a lifetime.
The more leaders you have at different times throughout the day, throughout the month, throughout the year, the better off your practice is going to be, because you're going to know each other's strengths. You're going to know how to work with each other.
In dentistry, I have an AGD PACE certification, which allows me to provide continuing education units for the people who take my courses. So if you're looking to get your CEs, to get your license renewed, I'm able to provide that for you. I'm also a certified speaking professional through the National Speakers Association. Of course, now in our new world is the certified virtual presenter, and I've been giving virtual presentations since before they were cool.
This is a snapshot over the next 5 years of what our workforces are going to look like. And so you want to really first talk about why the patient's here, what they want to achieve by coming into your practice, and then move forward with what the patient really needs.
After I work with a dental practice or a corporate team in marketing or sales, they walk away with the skills to customize their communication, either from a generational perspective or really just leveling up how they're going through the day or how they're processing through the day with their clients, with their team members, or with their patients.
We have to meet the patient's wants in order for them to do what they need.
Give her another round of applause, please.